Boxing brought to you by Hellraiser Promotions. Top of the bill, the Commonwealth welterweight eliminator between Phil Bowes and the dangerous South African Kusumi Tyatyeka. 13 fights on the bill in total. Chris Lloyd and Conrad Stemkowski at the commentary desk here at Your Call in Bethnal Green, and making his way through the ropes at super bantamweight is 18-year-old Frank Arnold. So Luke Fash making his way to the ring. Luke Fash already in the ring, I beg your pardon. Frank Arnold on his way to the ring, 18 years of age, 1-0 under Hellraiser Promotions. This one at super bantamweight, 4 3-minute rounds.
And this first one was a stoppage, right?
First one was a stoppage. Luke Fash was stopped by Jelasis Taru on his debut.
So might go the same way, I guess. Looking confident and relaxed there already.
Final instructions delivered by referee Frank Arnold. The red gloves, the blue trunks. Luke Fash in the black trunks. 4 3-minute rounds this at super bantamweight, and the recognisable figure of the great Jimmy Tibbs in the corner of young Frank Arnold. Tibbs, of course, the trainer of Frank Bruno in the late 80s, early 90s, and with a number of high-profile names, a number of world champions out of West Ham ABC. So, young prospect Arnold, operating out of the southpaw stance, looks sharp, looks in good condition too. Yeah,
very sharp, a very aggressive and confident start.
Fash, as we know, was stopped on his debut, and he's the shorter, more compact of the two men. This is nice to see.
Nice right hand there.
It was Arnold just holding centre ring. He's dictating at range behind a stiff jab. He's got a nice shape about him.
Yeah, I mean, if he carries on like that and just continues to dictate, it might be an early night for him.
Just keeping things sharp and compact at this stage. Arnold doubles up the left hand. And it's nice, he just manipulates the distance with the lead hand as well. He's got Fash at arm's length so far, and Fash unable to work his way into range.
Yeah, Fash needs to be a lot closer if he wants to work. Obviously, as being the shorter fighter, it's all about just getting inside, really. Arnold is making it difficult for him, though.
Poise and positioning of Arnold, and looking at him shaping up early. Very competent jab. It's a little bit behind it too.
Yeah, it definitely looks like there's a bit of a sting in his punches. There's already a bit of blood on Flash's face.
That's right, Fash, just a bit of claret around the nose as he tucks up high behind that guard, but it's the jab that's done most of the damage from Arnold, just pushing that left hand straight through, but these are arrow straight shots from the 18-year-old. Mrs. Fash is just a little square on, the guard's nice and high, but there is a gap, an inviting one straight through the middle, of course, as Arnold operating out of the southpaw stance, making it a little easier for that left hand to land. Nice left hook though from Fash as Arnold stepped in, just a little reminder for him that he's not having it all his own way, but he's dominated from the centre for this first round.
He landed that hook as well while his foot was on the outside, so Arnold needs to be aware of, you know, making sure that he's there rather than letting Fash do that.
Good start from young Frank Arnold in his second contest.
Yeah, great round, very controlled.
Second round, round 2.
Posey, as you say, challenge for that English title against Glenn Foote in his contest before the last one, and came off second best. It was just relentless pressure from Foote that undid him in the end. He just couldn't get his rhythm.
That's it. It seemed like he was getting dragged into Glenn Foote's type of fight, you know, which he needs to kind of stay away from, dictate what he wants to do rather than letting the other fighter do it. Obviously easier said than done sometimes, but
well, against a fighter like Glenn Foote, I think it was just didn't give him any space to breathe or work at all, did he, that night? But maybe Phil's learned from that, and we'll see what happens this evening. Of course, a win will make him the mandatory for that Commonwealth title, and that will really be an incentive for him to once again get back in the mix at title level. But right now, young Frank Arnold, the tutelage of the great Jimmy Tibbs, has made a bright start here in his second contest, but he's got that kind of shape and style about him that tells you that he's got some real quality.
yeah, that's it, definitely. And got, you know, good jab, which is, you know, the main weapon really, and underused by many fighters. You can win, you know, entire fights just on a good jab.
Just nice the way he dictates the distance and space as well. Just seems to have good balance and his legs underneath him at all times. That was a nice stiff left hand. And Fash, other than the odd feint, trying to get into range, he's well, he's just being a little outgunned here.
Nice shot to the body. That kind of jab can, you know, take the wind out of you.
I think important to mix up the levels as well for him, because he's trying to unpick an opponent that's really not throwing a great deal back, was tucking up pretty high and tight. And I think one of the conundrums at this stage of a boxer's career, Conrad, is that you've got to sometimes try and unpick people who are there to survive.
That's it. You know, these guys are, their main priority is, you know, making sure they get through the fight, kind of, so they can fight again next week potentially. So yeah, definitely very difficult to unpick those styles.
Of course, the UK ruling, if you are boxing multiple times, you do get stopped, you are unable to box for 28 days. And as you mentioned, if you're relying on a paycheck for a certain number of times a month, the last thing you need is to be out of action for 28 days. So
that's right.
So far, Luke Fash is he's not showing any signs of being hurt. Bit of blood from the nose, but he's certainly clearing away second in the runnings here. Arnold is dictating comfortably at his own pace and doesn't look under any sort of pressure.
That's it, yes. Again, great jab. I saw him land about 3 in a row a minute ago, which, you know, is obviously why the nose is bleeding. I think if Fash wants to, you know, have a chance at this, he needs to be more aggressive, get closer and work the body, try and slow Arnold down, which I think is going to be very difficult for him.
Well, Jimmy Tibbs in his corner knows a thing or two about coaching southpaws. Saw Billy Joe Saunders to WBO middleweight championship of the world, which he still holds, although he's not working with Tibbs anymore, but put in a brilliant performance against Andy Lee to take that off him a couple of years ago now. And well, Tibbs is just no stranger to this style, and it is a completely different conundrum for orthodox fighters to have to unpick, and there's just not many southpaws around.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, especially if you don't kind of have anyone in your camp or your gym, then it's very hard to kind of try and figure it out on the night.
Once again, Frank Arnold just back to work as he was at the very beginning of the contest, just dictating from the centre. Nice wide base, good balance, stiff jab. And just not...
And again, it lands,
yeah, lovely shot there. Just not overcomplicating things either. He's just doing all the basics really, really well, which at this stage of your career, your second pro contest, that's the kind of thing that you want to be showing your trainer and the fans, and allow you to just build on that as a base. That's
right, definitely. It's all about kind of in the first couple of fights. I feel that some fighters get, you know, overexcited with the you know, the fight on the night, and they forget their simple boxing, which is obviously, you know, the bread and butter.
Absolutely, and just nice bit of defence there from Arnold. Just caught the left hook on his glove and fired straight back. Good timing. He's not falling for any of these feints either, is he? Just Luke Fash trying to feint with the feet, and Arnold holding firm, knows when the shots are coming and when they're not.
Very controlled, catching and throwing. Perfect, really. Can't fault that kind of boxing.
You can't, and actually, it's also worth remembering his age, 18, to show such a mature performance and control. He's got the markings of someone that could be pretty special here, and, well, Jimmy Tibbs at the stage of his career he's at, he wouldn't work with somebody I don't think that he felt had some potential, and that says quite a lot in itself.
Did he have a long amateur career, do we know? Or?
I haven't got too much on his amateur career, but I think it's safe to say, looking at his balance, his poise, the shot selection, this is no novice we're watching.
Of course, yeah.
Stiff jab again from Arnold.
He just can't seem to miss with that jab. Nice try by Fash.
The head movement from Fash is a little limited, isn't it? But the hands are high. I think just the angle that he's standing, the gap between those high hands, he's just inviting that jab in the long left hand, and he's making life pretty easy for Arnold, which at this stage I think is probably wise. You don't want to put him in too deep a water.
That's it, you know, it's a learning fight. He's still got, you know, some development to come, I guess, and experience to gain from these kind of fights.
Could he be trying to apply a little bit more pressure on his opponent, do you think, or do you think he's doing the right thing by just boxing at distance and keeping it safe?
I mean, he could, as you know, as the round goes on, maybe try and get a little bit closer, throw a couple of body shots. You know, he knows he can basically just win the whole fight on the jab. But you know, he could definitely try and be a bit more, take a few more risks, as it were.
So round 3 down, just one more to go here at Super Bantamweight at York Hall, the opening night of Titanium, brought to you by Hellraiser Boxing. Just the footfall increasing in York Hall, is taking a little while to fill up at this stage. It's early on in the evening. I imagine by 7 or 8 o'clock this place will be in full voice, and it does get really, really loud.
It's a great atmosphere at the York Hall. I've boxed here a couple of times, and yeah, it's awesome when it gets filled out.
Some famous nights here over the years. Just always seems to invoke a bit more fight in boxers. Some of the big arenas, I don't know, it's just slightly different earlier on in the evening, but York Hall, close atmosphere, sound reverberates, and just kind of has that air of a bear pit in a movie, doesn't it, at times? And
sometimes the York Hall can be actually a better venue than some of these massive shows, definitely. If you sit close enough to the ring, you might even get some blood and sweat sprayed on you.
Well, we're sitting close enough to find out, and there's a little bit of blood from the nose of Fash in the black shorts, and well, we were saying whether Frank Arnold would step things up and try and put a bit on him. He's just cutting off the ring a little bit more, just stepping forwards. He was happy to just hold distance and hold centre ring in the first 3 rounds. Just a slight indication that he's hunting a little bit more. So it's still not, he's not really exerting full out pressure on his opponent. He's just keeping things comfortable, but
He's doing a lot of single shots. I think he could probably get away with trying a couple of combinations just to get that little bit closer. But I mean, you know, he's happy just pot shotting and win the fight like that, I guess. There we go, another nice jab. And
Yeah, he was just caught by a little left-hand counter over the top, wasn't he? There, just got to be careful. Sure, it wouldn't have bothered him too much, but all learning points that certainly Jimmy Tibbs won't have missed and won't have forgotten when they go back to the gym next week.
that's it. They're probably taking notes on.
It's probably good to get clipped with the odd shot or two on the way up, just to let you know where the small defensive chinks in the armour are, things to iron out, because at this stage, really, that's what you're doing, isn't it? Just refining detail. And
That's it. It's good to get a little reminder, that you then realise that you're actually in a fight, right?
Absolutely. Well, Fash has stayed the course as we enter the last part of this final round. Arnold has boxed very, very well, kept things tight. Stiff left hand again, just crashes against the guard of Fash, and well, the left hand in response just caught the shoulder of Arnold. Doesn't really have the air of a man that's really hurt Fash. I think he's done well so far, but really good signs all around from young Frank Arnold that we could be looking at somebody pretty special here.
Yeah, definitely. I think, that Fash, these type of fighters are very tough and they know what they're doing. But yeah, for Arnold, a good learning fight, I think. But I mean, it'd be exciting to see him in his next fight try more combinations and get a little bit closer to the opponent.
Yeah, you're right. It'd be interesting just to see how he copes when he's got a real come-forward opponent who tries to exert a bit of pressure on him and make things a little more difficult when he has to start opening up and using that firepower. But it was very comfortable, very controlled performance from Jimmy Tibbs' young charge, Frank Arnold.
Nice win for him, definitely. I mean, you just got to look at Arnold. He's in great shape. He's not even breathing hard. Look.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of action, the contest is scored 40 points to 36 points. Your winner from Hackney, Frank Arnold.
Frank, congratulations, only a second fight. Shutout points victory. Very much one built on the jab.
Yeah, okay, jab. This is my trainer. I keep jabbing him. That's it. I keep jabbing him. That's what I have to do, to be honest. Keep jabbing him.
At one point I counted 5 jabs landing in a row without any answer. He did in the 3rd round, he started to counter a little bit more. Was that something you were wary of?
Yeah, I was, but I wanted to throw more combo, but I couldn't really throw combo to get walk around the ring. It was like, yeah, I couldn't really do much. But
Johnny, Coach Johnny Eames. Johnny, was the jab something you've been working on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we see this boy fight his brother, and we knew he was strong, knew he was tough, but Frank's got a great little repertoire of punches. We didn't need to see him tonight, just the jab. That's it, yeah.
It was a very mature performance. But only 18 years old, very mature performance against a guy with a lot of experience.
He's still a baby. He's going to have a little bit of time off of fighting now for a little while. Back to the gym for a few months, 6, 7 months. And you'll see this kid again in 6 or 7 months' time when he's a little bit more mature. I promised him 2 quick fights. He's had the 2 quick fights. Now he's in the gym for a while.
But you looked, in the 4th round, you got caught very briefly, but a little grimace spread over your face. Fair to say you enjoy the...
yeah, I enjoyed it. He hit me a few times, but like, it wasn't even hurting me, so I was like, alright, go on, whatever. I mean,
well, you're looking in great shape. I'm sure the time off in the gym's going to pay dividends. Looking forward to seeing you again. Congratulations on the win. Cheers, Johnny. Cheers, Frank.